I got a brilliant idea. On a gnarly day like this, let's go do some front flips. What's up, guys? As you just saw, we're gonna go learn how to do a front flip slash a tame dog. So let's get right into it. Ideally, you have a trampoline or you have a foam pit to first learn this in, but a lot of times you don't. So our next best thing to do is find a catwalk with a nice little drop with some pow-pow. That's gonna be your best bet because essentially it gives you a little extra time to get the flip around. And if you got some pow, you know, makes things a little less consequences. With that, of course, when you're flipping into powder, make sure all your pockets are closed. You'll thank me later. So the next thing that you can do, and definitely recommended, is on that catwalk, you're gonna do a nice little forward roll. Essentially, we're trying to understand the body positions, how to load up our nose, flip over without a lot of consequences. So as you see here, I'm gonna ride to the catwalk. I'm perpendicular to the edge of the catwalk. I'm gonna let my lead shoulder roll just past the backside of the roller, allowing the rest of my body and board to go around. I would suggest that you do that about 3-4 times, as long as you're comfortable. Obviously, you're gonna have to hike, but the more comfortable you are with that, the better. If you guys are looking to take your freestyle riding to the next level, I got 2 options for you. One, you can get an online snowboard course where I go super nerdy, detailed step-by-step for everything when it comes to the fundamentals of freestyle riding. That's gonna be linked in the description below. Now, let's say you wanna be a little bit more hands-on and you wanna learn from me in person, go ahead and check out the link in the description below. I do have a summer camp where we have a max total of 12 people with 3 coaches for those 12 people. To become more awesome, check out the link in the description below. Go do some more flippers. The next thing we're gonna do, is we're actually gonna now catch some air. When it comes to actually doing the front flip slash tame dog in the air, what you're gonna wanna do is you're going to drive a lot more pressure off the nose of your snowboard. Essentially, I personally like put a lot more weight on the front foot, and I'm actually gonna pop up and then take my lead shoulder, do an oblique crunch down towards the nose of my board, allowing my body to rotate. Now, it's a big deal that you actually do your front flip a little bit earlier than you would expect, because you are trying to launch off of the catwalk about 6 to 12 inches before the end. If you choose to do it later or you mess up your timing, you're not gonna get the spring-loaded explosion to get the rotation and the air time. So if you're struggling with the timing, you can draw a line in the snow and pop right there. Once we're in the air, what you're looking to do is keep your shoulders, hips, and knees ideally as stacked as possible. Now, as you see in this video, I admit I do turn just a little bit, but I'm able to control that turn and bring it back and land on my feet. But ideally, I would just stay more in a cartwheel position versus actually rotating. So as you're in the air, you are trying to keep the rotation going. So as I said, your shoulder drives towards the nose of the board, you do an oblique crunch, and you're gonna keep rotating until about 75% of your rotation is completed, and then you're gonna take your eyes, you're gonna look for the landing. Now, when I say spot the landing or look for the landing, we're actually trying to look 10 feet out past our nose. We're not trying to look at our feet or where we're actually touching the ground. You're trying to look out. Now, what that's gonna allow us to do is keep our spine upright, our momentum going. Now, after you see the landing, it's extremely important to keep the rotation going until you're able to land on both feet at the same time. So once you've completed about 75% of the rotation, you're able to see the landing, you gotta make a quick decision. Am I going really massive and I need to open up and slow down? Or am I under rotating it and I gotta keep driving so that I'm able to complete the full rotation? With that said, you wanna be able to rotate and land with your belly button more stacked in the center of your board, allowing you to absorb as much train with both knees as possible. Now, obviously that's gonna change. If you're in a lot of pow-pow and it's super deep, you're gonna have to just slightly keep your nose up. So you're gonna under rotate by just a tad bit so that you don't tomahawk. Now I'm gonna talk about the most common mistakes. Number one, not getting enough air time. What that means is a lot of people are so focused on the rotation that they're willing to chuck, but they're not actually projecting their body up and out, allowing them to get enough hang time. Now, of course, as you get more speed, it's gonna help you get more hang time, but it's also scarier. I personally like to go a little bit slower and pop bigger so I have more control and slightly minimize the consequences because I'm reducing the speed. And the next common mistake is as you're doing the flip, you're panicking, you're worried, you're freaked out, and you're trying to spot the landing as soon as possible. Now, the goal is to be able to just trust it, but sometimes you don't. And so the mistake is you take your eyes, you look over your shoulder, and what that ends up doing is it causes you to rotate and do a different complete flip that you're not intending, and it's way more scary, and most likely you're gonna stall out. And you don't wanna stall out, you wanna keep the momentum going. To overcome that, you just wanna trust the process. Get your chin to your chest, flip, and just wait until you see the landing and keep the momentum going naturally, and then look for it. But if you just immediately look for it, it's probably not gonna go well. The third most common mistake is, let's say that you are throwing it and you are keeping your eyes going and you spot the landing and you think you're rotated enough and you actually haven't at all and you land super backseat. Either two things happen. You land so backseat, the tail of your board sticks into the ground and you ride away and you break your tail. I don't have a video of it, but I've done it. It sucks, not the move. Or you're so backseat that you apply a lot of pressure to your back knee and you can harm your knee, or you're just gonna slip out and do a little butt touch and not actually land the trick because you haven't actually rotated the full front flip. The fourth common mistake on a front flip is that once you have done 75% of the rotation, your eyes immediately look for the ground underneath your feet, meaning that you go to here, you try to reach for the ground, and as you reach for the ground, you turn your board sideways, you land on your toes, and then you might not land it, you might fall over, it might be skidded, or you might end up just doing a little bit more of a tomahawk rolly thingamabobber versus riding away. So again, to fix that, keep my lead shoulder pointed in the direction I'm going, keep my eyes looking 10 feet out beyond where I land, and ride away. And then it's rare, but one of you guys, I know, I see you out there, are gonna over rotate. Now it's so small, I've actually really never seen the over rotation, but as you spot the landing at 75% of your rotation, you're gonna spot the landing, you're gonna have to make the right decision. Open up is gonna slow your rotation down or drive the shoulder to keep it going. It's pretty rare because most people aren't overdoing it, but if you're overdoing it, slow it down, and good thing you have a pad run. And the last one I got on this list is you're not committing. You have to commit to the trick. You gotta fully understand what you're doing and trust the process and go for it. If you kinda, maybe, kinda, sorta, probably not go for it, yeah, it's fine. Hopefully you got powder, but you're not gonna get the full rotation unless you're fully in it. Let your mind overtake your body and get it done. And I know that front flips, back flips, under flips, flips in general are very counterintuitive to the human body, and there's a lot of fear associated with it. And a couple key tips that you can use to overcome the fear is be with the right group of people. Now, I'm not saying people that are just hucking, chucking, intimidating you. I'm saying somebody's gonna give you some good feedback, is gonna be super supportive, is gonna help you build yourself to a successful place in your flip. That is gonna be a big deal. Now, after that, take your time with your progression. I hope you guys like that progression session with our front flip. If you guys end up doing this, tag me on Instagram because I wanna see you guys ripping it up. Tag me on TikTok and leave a comment down below. What did you think of this progression? Should I do more flips? Should we do a backflip variation? Let me know in the comments below. And on that note, guys, nothing but love. We out. At least I don't have to hike that far. Yeah.